I am going to be crocheting myself a cardigan, and I'm going to let my partner pick the crochet stitch I use for the whole cardigan. So if you've seen any of my previous videos, particularly the ones where I'm organising yarn, you probably recognise this yarn as the ones that I've had in my drawer for such a long time. This has been truly stuffed into my drawers, which is why it looks really raggedy, because yeah, I've had it for a really long time. I have had the intention to crochet a cardigan or a sweater or something with all 4 of these colours, and the time has officially come. So if you're wondering why I'm crocheting a cardigan where it's not really like cardigan weather, I'm kind of like done with summer crocheting, if I'm being so real. I am very much ready to crochet like snuggly warm jumpers, sweaters, cardigan, because that's my favorite. It's my favorite things to crochet. Also as well because I want this to be ready in time for me to wear it for like kind of the start of autumn. Plus also I am doing a pattern for it. But like I said, I've had this yarn in my stash for a really long time, and let me show you what we're working with. All of this is acrylic. It's from Woolcraft and it's the new fashion DK. So I have this really nice chocolatey brown, this lovely cool tone pink, which isn't really a colour that I gravitate to because I don't really go for cool tones, but I think it looks really nice with the rest of these colours. I have this heather lilac shade and then this berry purpley kind of pink shade. So here are all 4 of those colours together. I think they all look really nice, and I feel like the pop of this darker, deeper chocolate orange is just going to offset these kind of like purpley pink shades quite nicely. We've got some like warm tones and then some cool tones as well, which I think will look really cute. And I am planning on doing like a stripy situation. I don't want thin stripes, I don't want like super thick chunky stripes, I want like somewhere in between basically. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to crocheting this cardigan with all of these colours as well. So I kind of got the idea to get my partner to choose the crochet stitch for me because he plays this, he skateboards and he plays this skateboarding game where there's like a really big map, and he will basically get me to choose a new location for him on the map for him to like skate in the game. And it's like a fun thing that we do every time he plays the game. I personally don't look at the map, I just kind of like, he just tells me when we're ready, and I just say up, down, left, right, and then that's the place where he chooses, and he chooses to do a fun little trick and blah blah. So we thought it would be fun to kind of do my version of that, which would be for him to choose what crochet stitch I use for this whole project. So I am somebody who loves texture, I love fun funky stitches, I love things that are a little bit different and a little bit unique, whereas my partner prefers things that are a little bit plainer, a little bit kind of like neater looking, things that maybe are a little bit more uniform in the way they look, that sort of thing. So in that sense we actually have very different taste, but what I'm planning on doing is choosing 4 different crochet stitches, ones that I like, the ones that I actually would be more than happy to create a whole cardigan out of, because there's no point in doing this if it's going to be a stitch that I hate, let's be so real. So it is going to be a stitch that I actually enjoy and like, but he is just going to be the one to choose which one I end up going for the whole cardigan. So I think I'm going to find some stitches that I like the look of. I will practice them in like kind of a striping formation, and then we'll kind of go from there and see which one my partner chooses for this whole cardigan. Hopefully it's one that I like as well. I do think that he will choose one that I like, especially that all 4 stitches are going to be stitches that I actually do want to crochet a whole cardigan in. Also, hello, if you don't know me, my name is Rajan, or Not Half Bad Crochet. I am a part-time pattern designer and content creator. If you enjoy all things crochet related, like project vlogs, cozy crochet days, maybe some behind the scenes of a pattern designer, then please do stick around, subscribe to my channel, check out my patterns, which are always listed in the description, and you can find me on TikTok and Instagram as well. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for this vlog and for this project. I'm really looking forward to it. It feels like ages since I've worked on something like snuggly and cozy, and especially in like a fun color palette where it's like my own piece, you know. So I'm really looking forward to doing this project, especially that I get to use this yarn, because like I said, if you've seen any of my yarn organizing videos, you know how in the way this color palette of yarn has been getting in my yarn drawers. So I'm really looking forward to using it and seeing what I can create. Okay, so I have been swatching. My partner is currently just doing the dishes, I think. So I thought it'd be fun for me to go through the swatches and share my opinion on them, and then we can go to my partner, he can share his opinion on them and which one he wants to choose for me to do this whole cardigan. So I've done 4 stitches in total. I've numbered them 1 to 4. I don't cut off my swatches, like I don't cut off the yarn with my swatches, because I don't want an extra end to weave in. So they are all attached to the balls of yarn, and they are all like different color variations because of that. Let me show you the swatches and my thoughts and feelings on each one. Okay, so this is stitch number 1. Is that the right way? This is the right way. This is really lovely, but it's just got too many chain spaces in there, and I want this to be quite a solid stitch. I obviously want the cardigan to be nice and snuggly and nice and warm. This is really nice. It's really fun as well. Like, it's a 2-row repeat. I think it looks lovely with like a striped element as well with all the other colors. Not something that I think is suitable for this cardigan. Really nice, but hoping he doesn't choose this one because I don't want a cardigan with like a lot of chain spaces in it. So yeah, this is option number 1. And then we have option number 2. This is arguably probably one of the most plainer stitches that I have chosen as like a swatch. This is called like a linked half double crochet or something like that. So it's basically a half double crochet. We just do it ever so slightly different, and it does create this like extra fun texture. It kind of has this like almost zigzag pattern through it, which you can definitely see more in the lighter colors. This is nice. Pretty plain, not really something that I typically would go for. I'm usually somebody who likes a lot more texture and something that's like visually a little bit more interesting, and not something that's like a plain single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet. I don't usually do that for like whole garments. I will find a fun stitch, a little bit more on the plain side, but wouldn't hate it if he chose it, because it does still have like a fun element with the little zigzag kind of situation going on there. So this is stitch number 2, and then we have stitch number 3, which I think is like one of my favorites. So I think 3 and 4 are my favorites, my top 2. This is a really nice stitch. I have swatched this stitch before, but in like a different project for my scrappy t-shirt. If you saw that, I did swatch it with those yarns, and I did really like it. I like how it worked up as well. I kind of like that each cluster is kind of like nestled in. I really like that kind of like formation and how that looks, especially with like the striped element. Really fun, very easy, very simple stitch. I really like it. I hope he chooses this one. And this is swatch number 3. And then we have swatch number 4. I don't know why I did it so small compared to the others as well, but this is the 4th swatch. It was upside down. I really like this one. It's kind of similar to the swatch number 3, but it's just a little bit tighter in terms of like the little clusters. I feel like they're not as spread out, and yeah, I do really like this stitch. I really love like the kind of zigzaggy pattern that happens when you have a new color. Really pretty, very easy to do as well. Similar vibes for sure to swatch number 3, so I think that's why I'm like favoring them both, because they're like same but different. So yeah, this is swatch number 4, and I really like this one, so hopefully he chooses one of these. But yeah, that is all 4 swatches. I am going to go and summon my partner, and then he can go through all the swatches, let me know which ones he likes, which ones he doesn't like, and hopefully he will choose a swatch that I actually want to do for this whole cardigan. Are you in frame? Oh yeah, you are. Amazing. Okay, so yeah, I've got each swatch laid out, numbered 1 to 4. You're gonna look at them and you're gonna like, you know, inspect them, and then you will say what you like and don't like about each one, and then you will decide which one you want me to use for the whole cardigan.
Okay, cool.
All of these stitches I do like, apart from one. So there's one which is like, it's fine and it's nice, but I just don't think it's not what I intend for the cardigan. So just so you're aware, my intentions for the cardigan is obviously a nice snuggly cozy for the autumn and the winter, and yeah, that's it really. And it's going to be all 4 of these colours, but obviously I've mixed them up, you know. Okay,
let's go.
Okay, this is swatch number 1.
Okay.
Okay, tell me your thoughts.
It's okay right now. Like, I don't have much to compare it to
Yeah.
yet. Don't know if I like the like bundles.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bundles.
Don't know if I'd like that.
Okay, cool.
Like,
no other thoughts?
No, that's like, maybe I'll come back to it.
Yeah, alright. Cool, so that's swatch number 1. Okay. And then we have...
What was that?
Oh my god, what is that? Swatch number 2.
I like this.
Okay.
Clean, it's neat.
Yeah, okay, cool. Anything else?
So would it be going...
Horizontal.
Horizontal, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I like it in brown a lot.
Yeah, okay, cool. This is swatch number 3.
It's not the same as number 1.
No, they're different.
This is nice. I like that it's almost like zigzag.
It's like nestled in.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about this one as well.
It's a bit gappy.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I think number 1's quite gappy.
I need to have a look at number 1 again.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah, that's nice.
Alright,
like
cool. And then we have the final one, which is number 4.
I don't know if I like this.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think number 3 and number 4 are quite similar.
Yeah, I don't like, now that it's like tight together and maybe smaller. I don't think I like it as much. I think it looks more like little lumps now instead of zigzags. You can kind of see the zigzags more, I guess, when it goes away. But,
Yeah,
I mean,
this one's definitely a more tighter stitch.
yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
Alright, cool.
Let me look at number 1 again. Yeah, I don't like this.
Why? Because of the lumps.
A lot of gaps.
Yeah.
Lumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like unneat lumps.
Unneat, okay.
Not your fault, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
how it's done together. But like, it's like, oh, we're a square. We're just gonna fucking do whatever.
Okay.
So I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm not a fan.
Cool, so no number 1.
No, number 1 is last.
Number 1 is last. Okay, interesting. I feel like you didn't like number 4.
Number 4 was, yeah, I'd say number 4 is my
Next least
like,
favourite.
yeah,
Okay.
second last.
So it's between number 2 and 3. Alright.
I think that you like number 3 more.
Okay. Interesting.
I like number 2 more.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, because it's nice and neat.
Yeah, yeah,
I like,
uniform.
yeah, like boring stitches, I guess. So I like number 2,
Yeah.
but I think you like number 3.
Yeah. We'll
And
go
then-
with
but
your
then-
heart.
But so I would order it.
Yeah.
Number 1 is last.
Okay.
Number 4 is second last.
Okay.
Number 3 is second.
Okay.
And number 2 is first. That's my
Okay.
that's
your
my like
ranking.
ranking of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
I think you like either 1 or 3.
Yeah, 3 is my favourite.
Yeah, I thought
well,
so.
I was toying between 3 and 4.
Quite
Number
similar.
1, I was like no, because there's too many chain spaces in it, and it's too there's too many gaps. So I was like, I don't want it to be this gappy.
And it looks like meatballs.
Meatballs. Okay.
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't agree, but I can see where you're I can see where you're going with that. And then swatch number 2, I was like, this is just boring.
Yeah, I knew you'd find that boring.
But I was like, I don't mind it. It's fun because it's basically a half double crochet, which is like obviously a really common stitch, but it's done in like a different way. So it's like boring, but like ever so slightly different, you know. That's what
Is
it
that how you feel when I'm like, oh, I like this stitch, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, I love that stitch, and it's like single crochet, and I'm like, oh, okay.
It's nice, it's neat.
It's boring.
Looks good.
So out of swatch, number 2 and number 3, which one are you choosing?
Number 3.
But is that because you want that? Or is it because you think that I will like this one more?
If you'll like it more, you're going to be wearing this.
True, yeah, good point, yeah. Yeah, okay, let's go number 3.
Yeah, and you
All
just
right.
roasted this one
I did a
pretty
little
bad.
bit, yeah, sorry.
Like, yeah, I don't mind, but I'm not going to be like,
Yeah, I mean,
do
but the thing is,
boring
I wouldn't
stitch.
have included it if I wasn't okay with making a cardigan in it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this is the plainer one out of all 4 of them, you know?
Yeah, no, you hate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. Okay, so we're going with swatch number 3.
What is this stitch?
I don't know what it's called, to be honest. But you basically do these, like, can you see, like, these little clusters?
Yeah.
You do this, like, cluster into this one stitch, and then you do, like, and then on the next row, you do that cluster in that corner of it. So it's kind of like, they kind of, like, nestled in quite nicely,
Yeah, it's
which is
cool.
what I like about it. And then when you obviously add another colour, you get this, like, zigzaggy sort of situation. Cool! Alright, thanks! Number 3 is the winner! Yay!
Like and subscribe.
Was that a threat?
Like and subscribe!
Okay. Thank you. Okay friends, we have a little update. I'm kind of like speeding through this. I don't know how. I think maybe the stitch is just quite fun. It's quite like repetitive. It's really enjoyable to do. But yeah, I've made a decent amount of progress for the back panel. I've done my first like full rotation of all of the colours, and I'm now looping back to the lilac colour. But I really love the colours together. I was a little bit unsure about how they were going to look together, especially that I've kind of had this colour palette in mind for a little while now. And I was crocheting like in somewhat darkness yesterday, and so I was like, oh, I don't know about these colours. Also as well, like this lilac and the kind of cool tone pink. In the dark, there's not much contrast between the two, so I was a bit like, oh shit, you actually can't really tell the difference between those two colours. So I was thinking I was going to have to like rejig the order in which I'm doing them. So luckily, as you can see, there is contrast between the two, and you can tell the difference between the two colours, which is great. That's what happens when you crochet in the near dark. Going really well. I have decided as well, I can't remember if I mentioned, but I am going to be doing a pattern for this. I'm really looking forward to sharing this pattern. This is the back panel, and I am going to be blocking the panels separately. Loving how it looks. I'm going to work on it some more today. In terms of length, I think I'm just going to go for like a regular length. The top I'm wearing currently is quite long, but my stomach sits around here. Account for a little bit of ribbing, probably about here, so I've got a little ways to go. I don't think I'm gonna have that many rotations of each colour, to be honest, but we shall see. We shall see. I really love the stitch pattern. Very glad my partner chose one that I liked, which I feel like he did do under slight duress. Well, not duress, but he chose it because he knew I would like it, and that's very nice of him. This is how it's going. I will check back in with you soon. What was even my last update? I truly cannot remember. I feel like I've really flown through this project without really like intending to, so I can't actually remember like what I've said and what I haven't said. Second front panel is done. That's all you need to know. I have now my back panel and both of my front panels. I was planning on blocking each of my panels separately and then assembling it and then doing the ribbing and stuff, and doing the sleeves and then the ribbing, because I'm doing the sleeves in the round. But all my panels are done, so I don't really want to have to like wait for them to dry, because then I won't have anything to crochet, because if you know me, I'm a one whip girl. I work on one project at a time, so I won't have anything to crochet. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how the front panel has turned out. I was a little bit unsure actually about the back panel, because or like the kind of shaping that I'd done for the back panel, because I wasn't sure if maybe the armhole shaping I did was like a bit too steep, because this kind of like shoulder part that I've done is very, very narrow. Like this would be something that I would make for like a, you know, a crop top or a summery top sort of thing. So it's very rare for me to have a sweater or a cardigan or something that's like, you know, with sleeves and stuff with such a narrow kind of neck area, I mean shoulder area. I obviously had to do it this amount because then otherwise my head hole would be absolutely tiny and I wouldn't be able to kind of get it around my neck, and I didn't want it to kind of sit super wide either. This is why I didn't block the back panel first, because I was like, I need to do the front panel to kind of A, make sure it doesn't look weird, and B, make sure I can kind of like get the right decreases so it would match. So yeah, that's why I didn't block this, but I was just a little bit unsure about how it would sit. I think like the decreases where I started is good. It's still kind of low, so it gives me like a nice kind of oversized sleeve without it being super baggy or kind of fitted, because I don't want a fitted sleeve. I want this to be like slouchy and comfortable. So yeah, that's why I obviously started my decreases kind of low, but I was a little bit worried about this shoulder area. It's just very alien to me, because as much as I do offer shaping in a lot of my garments and do shaping in garments, when it comes to like sweaters and cardigans, I'm not really that bothered about like a drop shoulder. So I don't typically do any armhole shaping for my sweaters and cardigans, because I just simply don't really care. But because this is striped, I think it will look better if it does have some armhole shaping. I think it will just sit a little bit nicer, like the striping will. So that's why I decided to do this, which is rare for me. And I think as well, where I haven't made a sweater or a cardigan or anything in such a long time, or at least it feels like such a long time, it's like I've forgotten, you know, it's like I've forgotten but I haven't forgotten. That's kind of how it feels. I'm just like out of practice. Yeah, this works. This does work. But like, why was I confused? Why did I not think it was going to work? And then we'll have a bit of ribbing down the middle for like the buttonholes, seam up the sides, ribbing, sleeves. Yeah, this is fine. What's my fucking problem? What was my problem? I don't know. So yeah, that's my update. It's going really well. I crocheted the second front panel in like a day. Not even a day. I think I did it in like, I watched 2 movies. I watched Chicago and I watched Men in Black. So however long those 2 movies are together is how long it took me to do the front panel, which is kind of weird. I'm not used to panels being that quick. I'm very confused in this project, if I'm being so real. Everything's working up really fast. All my stitch counts have somehow married up perfectly without me really even trying. And I'm a bit like, what the hell's going on, guys? Next plan is obviously to seam up everything. Because I am insane, I will actually be using the specific colours to seam up the sides. I won't just use like one colour, because as much as like, obviously it doesn't really matter and only I am the one who's going to see it, I don't like particularly when like another colour is like peeking out when you're seaming stuff together. So I'm going to use like the brown to seam up this side, the lilac, the pink, the berry, you know. It will obviously result in more ends, but I don't really care. You know, I've already got a bunch of ends, so compared to some of my other projects, this is a breeze when it comes to weaving an end. So I think it will look cooler and neater, and it's something that I always see in my own projects that I don't like. So I'm just going to alleviate that by being a little bit crazy and just joining every single stripe with its particular colour. So that's the next step. That's what I'll be doing. Anyway, I've just been, my brain has like not really caught up with this project, if that makes sense. It's like I've had this idea for so long and now I'm executing it, and it's like my brain is just taking like a little bit of extra time to like get to this point of like what we're doing. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's going well and I'm going to continue. Hello my queens, I have an update. That was gender neutral queens, by the way. So, wait, hold on. I just pulled a bunch of stitches, 1 second. I haven't provided an update in ages. I've just washed my hair, ignore if it's looking a bit crazy, but yeah, I haven't provided an update in ages, just because I've just been doing it. I've just been crocheting. So here is the official update. We are all assembled. I really can't remember where I last updated. Back panel done, front panels both done, sleeves done. I did work the sleeves in the round. I was tempted to decrease as I went kind of closer to the cuffs, but I prefer a baggier sleeve, if I'm being so honest. I think part of me was like, oh, I'll decrease because then people in the pattern have the option to decrease, but I was like, can't really be bothered. I'll write it in the pattern so it is an optional option if people do want a more kind of like tapered sleeve that gets a little bit more narrow towards the wrist, but I don't really prefer that. So I have done a regular kind of loose sleeve, and then I just cinched it in at the end when I did the ribbing for the end of the cuff. Obviously it replicated the same thing on the other side. I was initially going to add another like stripe of the pale pink at the end and then do the ribbing, but when I tried it on I was like, if I do that, it does make it a little bit, I think after blocking it will be a little bit too long. So I just took it off and then I just did the ribbing. So it does currently sit probably about like here. Can you even see my finger? Like here, wait, here on my forearm, which is a little bit higher than obviously I would like, but I am blocking it. I know that over time as well it will stretch out a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I've done the bottom ribbing as well, and I've decided to go for the like paler blush pink colour. So I've done the bottom ribbing and I have done one side of, hold on, the front ribbing, and I've just started the other side, literally just started, and I will be adding the buttonholes to this side, and then after that I've got the neckline kind of collar ribbing to do. I'm unsure if I'm going to have enough yarn. I'm really hoping I do, because I don't have a huge amount left. Like, it's just this ribbing and then the neckline ribbing, so fingers crossed I do have enough yarn, because I do ideally want to have all of the ribbing the same colour. Obviously the pale pink on the sleeves and then same on the bottom, but worst case, if I do run out of the yarn, I will frog this ribbing and use a different colour for the sleeves, and then so I will have more of the blush pink to do like the kind of neckline bottom area, because I think that area I want all of the colours to be the same, whereas the sleeves being a different colour I'm not too bothered about. Ideally, yes, I would have them all this colour, but I'm working with a specific amount of yarn. So yeah, that's my update. Also, let me show you what buttons I'm planning on using, which I am honestly very, very excited about. If you know me, you know I am a big old slut for some buttons, because I don't know why, maybe it's the autism, but I've always really loved buttons. Like, I've always had a random obscure button collection and he choked talking about buttons, but my mum growing up had this pickle jar full of like random buttons, and my my baby autistic self used to love just like going through them and organizing them, and I had my favorites. And then when my mum found out I've told this story a million times. If you've been on my channel for a while, you probably heard this story. But then when my mum, when I told my mum I was crocheting, she was like, here, take some buttons. She brought the pickle jar and I raided the whole thing. So I've got a bunch of her buttons, but I won't be using any of her buttons for this cardigan because I found, very long story, I'm getting to the point, I promise, because I found these. Let me show you how fucking cute they are. They are these tiny little bears, and they're this like kind of pale tan brown, and I think they are so fucking adorable. They are very small. They are extremely small buttons, but I think they'll work. They have like a little backing on it as well, and I have like, you know, multiple of them. I have quite a few actually, so I'm kind of debating doing like quite a few buttons or spacing them out kind of like every other stripe, or doing it like one on every stripe. So I haven't quite decided yet, but oh, I love them so much. I'm really excited. I actually got these buttons with the intention to use them specifically for this cardigan, so I didn't even have to kind of think about what buttons I wanted, because I was like, I want these. It's going very well. I haven't used up any of the individual colors yet. I do have little bits of each left over. The lilac color and the brown color, I've only got like a small ball, and then the kind of like darker berry shade, I have like probably just under 100 grams, maybe about 80 grams, 70 grams of it left over. So yeah, I initially got 800 grams in total, 2 of each colour, and it's been absolutely fine for me to crochet this whole cardigan. Let me do a little try on actually. It's quite hot, so it won't be on my body for that long. It's looking cute in terms of the fit. I am, like I said, looking forward to having it blocked because I just think it will relax everything up. I did use a 4mm hook for this yarn, and usually with a DK I would use a 4.5 just to kind of give it a little bit more drape, but I went with a 4 because I knew I was blocking it, and I figured I want the stitch to be a tiny bit tighter, and then obviously after blocking it can relax out a little bit. So that was my thought process. So yeah, it's looking a little bit stiffiana. I think a block will absolutely help. I'm really looking forward to adding the kind of like neckline collar ribbing as well. I think it's just gonna like tie it all in really nicely as well, and then I can kind of like cinch it in, because at the moment the sleeves are kind of like falling off ever so slightly, but I mean the shoulders ever so slightly, but that will, when I do the collar, it'll be fine. But yeah, so you can kind of you can kind of see how short the sleeves are, but yes, with blocking and with time they will kind of stretch out a little bit, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, I love it. I think it's so cozy and nice and cute, and I am really looking forward to wearing it. It's very hot, but I think we're on heat wave number 5, 4, I don't fucking know. Get off. But it's very hot again, of course. So hopefully this will be the last heat wave we have, and then it'll be the end of summer, because I fucking hate summer. And then we can move into autumn and it'll be lovely, and I can wear this cardigan. It'll be so cozy and nice and warm and nice, and I don't have to worry about being hot and overstimulated and being cranky and having my period in the summer. That's always the fucking worst. So yes, anyway. Oh, also I started watching 911. I keep wanting to call it 911 because obviously it's like 911, so like my brain goes to 911 when I see the numbers. Anyway, I am watching 911. I've never watched it before. I always see it like edited on TikTok. Obviously I have no context, I have no idea what's going on. I watched episode 1, it's fucking insane. Episode 1 on its own is absolutely batshit crazy. It's like Grey's Anatomy level drama, but obviously they're like, you know, first responders, but it's even crazier. So I'm having a great time watching that. I watched a couple episodes when I did the ribbing yesterday, and it's just so fun and so ridiculous, and I'm curious to see where it goes, because I think there's like 9 or 10 seasons. Like I said, I've literally started it, so if you've watched it, let me know if it's any good. Obviously no spoilers, please and thank you. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching it. I'm gonna crochet some more and watch 911. Okay friends, we are officially done. I love how this has turned out. So I obviously need to block it, weave in the ends and stuff. Haven't done that yet, but I thought I'd just do a quick little update on how it looks. It's finished. I did all of the ribbing, finished off the last last kind of like side, what's this called, front part of the ribbing. Added my buttonholes. That's what all these safety pins are for, because the buttons are actually quite small, so I've obviously done it according to like the buttonholes according to the size of the buttons, and they are quite small. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be adding all of these like buttons for every single buttonhole I've made, but I figured because the buttons are so small and the buttonholes are so small, it's not really very noticeable. So even if I decide to just do like every other stripe, it's fine. But I figured I might as well put the buttonhole there just in case, because I think it might look a bit too much if there's like one button for each stripe. Basically I think that might be a bit too busy, so I'll see how I feel obviously once it's blocked and I've woven in all the ends and stuff, because I will do that. I will sew on the buttons like right at the end. It looks really good. I finished off the collar ribbing as well. I did cinch in the collar ever so slightly just so it kind of like tugged a little bit more on the kind of shoulder area. That's kind of my last update of everything that I finished. Obviously bottom ribbing was done already. Thankfully I did have enough yarn to do the ribbing, which I was really pleased about, because I wasn't sure. Even when I was doing the neckline and like collar ribbing, I was like running a bit low, but yeah, managed to do it. I have like a good amount left, which is good, so it wasn't kind of like playing super close yarn chicken, but was a bit worried about having to play yarn chicken. I'm just going to wet block it, and then hopefully it won't take too long to dry. We actually are in, I think, like our 5th fucking heat wave maybe. I think I mentioned it when I did my little preemptive try on the other day, but yeah, I think we're in heat wave number 5, 4 or 5, whatever, I don't fucking know. But hopefully due to the heat wave and the heat, it will dry pretty quickly, and then I can weave in the ends and sew on the buttons, and then we're done. I love it a lot, and now I'm gonna go block it and I will check back in when it's done. Also, let me show you how much yarn I have left. So this is how much of the kind of like pale pink that I had left over. Still a good amount. The most amount I have left is of the kind of like darker berry shade, purpley berry shade. The least amount I have is of the lilac-y colour. This was the colour that I started all of my panels with, so it was like my first colour, so obviously it was like the chain colour, and also I used it probably the most because it was like the first colour in the kind of like row repeats, if that makes sense. And then this is the amount of brown that I have left over, so not a huge difference in the lilac and the brown. It's always really interesting when I am using like multiple colours for one project, and I have equal amounts of all of those colours, because I'm always really intrigued to see like how much of a difference in the amount of colours I have left is, and like obviously how much I used of each colour. So yeah, it's really interesting and kind of surprising actually. Probably just a case of maybe like one of the skeins or one of the colours had like more yardage, even though they were both 100 grams, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's always really interesting to me. But this is how much yarn I have left. Did pretty well with the yarn front. Glad I had enough, and glad I wasn't playing yarn chicken. Finished crocheting my cardigan. Oh, I am in love with how it looks. It didn't take me too long to weave in all the ends. Basically the course of a day, but like with breaks and having lunch and stuff. So yeah, it didn't take me too long, and compared to some of my previous projects, that is actually very quick. Yeah, I'm really glad that I was able to get all the ends woven in. And then I also sewed on my super cute buttons, which I think looks so adorable. I'm so pleased with like how they look as well. I think I mentioned that I wasn't sure about the placement of the buttons, and I wasn't sure if I was going to have one for basically like every stripe. But I think because they're so small, like from afar you actually can't really see the buttons or the busyness of them, and I think like combined with the stripes, I was like, I don't want it to be too crazy up in there. So I'm really glad that actually they are so small. I'm able to kind of add more buttons to the actual button bands. So yeah, I am in love with how it looks. Also, the blocking worked absolute wonders. I always find that people say you can't block acrylic, but you absolutely can. You just have to use very hot water. So I typically, what I do is I use like a collapsible laundry basket for like my bigger garments when I'm blocking them, and I fill it with warm water from like my shower head, and then I also do a kettle of boiling hot water. And it, obviously with the warm water from the shower, it is not super boiling because you don't want it to be, you know, searing hot, but it also makes it very, very hot. And I add like a wool wash or a detergent or whatever, leave it to do its thing in the water for a little while, and then just kind of do the typical blocking things that you would afterwards. I do pin it in place for how I kind of want the shaping to look, and like especially like the button band and the collar and stuff, like I want them to kind of be stuck down essentially. But yeah, I think the blocking worked really well, and if you are apprehensive about blocking acrylic or wet blocking acrylic, I think it is personally my favorite way to go, because you are also washing the yarn and you get this really lovely drape. So yeah, I'm really glad that the blocking kind of like did its thing. I think it sits really nicely. It's made the sleeves a little bit looser. It's made the kind of fit of it a lot nicer as well, because it was like a little more fitted, and also the sleeves are now regular length sleeves. So I'm actually really glad that I took off that kind of like final stripe, because I did have initially another stripe in this like blush color. So I'm glad that I kind of like took that off, because now the sleeves are sitting pretty perfectly at the end of my wrist, and like over time as well they'll kind of get a little bit baggier. I am so pleased. I really love how it looks. I also love that I can wear it with the buttons done up, but let me show you what it looks like with the buttons undone as well. And here is what it looks like with the buttons open as well. I really love the look of it, just kind of like thrown over something really casual. I'm really looking forward to wearing this in like the autumn and winter, and just kind of like having it as a very nice like casual throw on cardi. I think it's going to look really cute over like a pair of jeans or something. I have just thrown it over this little brown mini skirt because it is very hot still, and I am currently suffering in this cardigan, but I think it looks really cute, and I think it's going to be so nice and snuggly and warm. So yeah, I absolutely love how it's turned out. I'm pretty sure I mentioned at some point of this vlog, but I am going to be offering a pattern for this cardigan. It just won't be until next year. I was initially going to do it like kind of as I'd finished the cardigan, but then I realized that the pattern testing would go over Christmas, and I've got like quite a lot of stuff coming up. It's like my partner's birthday, I'm going away, it's Christmas time, it's New Year's, it's also my birthday, and I just kind of realized that I wouldn't be able to focus as much of my attention on the testing period as I would like. So I am going to hold off until next year. So if you are interested in pattern testing this cardigan for me, keep an eye on my socials, because I do always post all of my tester applications and stuff on my Instagram, my TikTok, and on like my community page on here. Keep an eye out if you would like to pattern test this for me, because that would be great and it would be very helpful for me. I really love the cardigan. I'm really looking forward to sharing the pattern as well. It's a really simple make, but I think it's just a really fun cardigan. I think like throwing a bunch of colors together and it kind of coming together is just so nice. And I love a cardi. I love like something I can just chuck on. If it's a little bit chilly, I can throw it in my bag if I need to, sort of thing. I also do need help with like pattern names. The only kind of criteria of this cardigan is that it's going to be striped and it's a cardigan, so it needs to be something cardigan. So if you have any pattern ideas, any names, let me know that maybe are a bit punny. You know, I love a pun, I love a little jokey joke. If you have any pattern names, drop them in the comments. If I do end up choosing your pattern name, I'll give you the pattern for free, like a copy of it. But yeah, this is the finished cardigan. I absolutely love how it's turned out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I crocheted this really cute cardigan. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And if you enjoy crochet content like project vlogs and cozy crochet days, maybe some behind the scenes of a pattern designer, then please do stick around, subscribe to my channel, and check out some of my previous videos. You can also find me on TikTok and on Instagram. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll hopefully catch you on the next one.